So today we're going to talk about the Z Health R-Phase manual and DVD set, which, I'm not exaggerating, I think is the most important foundational piece of your whole movement training program. Okay? No hyperbole here. Let me explain why. Basically, right, the fundamental issue that it solves is that if you have an old injury or you have pain and discomfort when you're moving, that's what you're feeling, right? But 99% of the time, the thing that you're feeling is not the source of the problem. It's the stuff that you can't feel that's not moving. And so what you are feeling are the parts of the body that are compensating for the parts that you can't feel. So in the R-Phase manual and DVD, you basically have a method for sorting out that issue. Right? Let me explain what's in here, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how that works as you go. So the basic rationale for R-Phase, why it's called R-Phase, is because we think about it in terms of 3 R's. Mobility restoration, movement re-education, and injury rehabilitation. So by re-educating the body and restoring full ranges of motion to each joint, right, you're going to resolve a lot of those old injuries that are nagging and a lot of the movement problems. You know, take it one step back from injury. You're going to start to solve movement problems, and that naturally leads to stronger movement, faster movement, more graceful, more powerful movement. So if you can think about everything in terms of solving movement problems, this is the fundamental step that's going to take you in that direction. And that's especially true if you don't have somebody to give you direct feedback all the time on your movement practice. Right? You have an outside set of eyes that looks and says, if they're really good, they can look analytically and say, well, you know, when you do this, that's not happening. If you don't have that, what are you going to do? This is the easiest solution to that problem if you don't have somebody giving you that feedback all the time. Here's why, right? What it is head to toe, explanations of drills that you can do, right? Written, and then pictures for reminders, plus, instructional DVD that breaks down every exercise. So a model shows you how to do the drill, points out key do's and don'ts, right? And so you get exercises that take you head to toe and move every single part that should be moving in the body, right? To do that as part of your practice only takes about 10 or 15 minutes. But what you're doing, you're taking a 10, 15-minute warm-up that goes head to toe with joint mobility, and you're essentially replacing the outside eyes of a really good instructor who can say, this is what you need to target and you need to pinpoint. So when you think about the value that's inside this DVD set and the manual, right, for the same price as maybe one private lesson with a good instructor, you're getting actually about 6 months of training material. So the cost per training session, or the value per training session, is huge. It's pennies for every training session that you're going to do over 6 months. And in the manual is actually a blueprint for how you take this through 6 months of training to master every drill and incorporate these full body training sessions right from the beginning. So you've got a huge training plan, a foundational piece because you're moving everything through the body, and then the DVDs here will actually take you through, again, there's one instructional, and then there's one follow-along practice. So basically, a few minutes a day, you can be going through the whole body, right? Some days you'll target specific stuff and focus on mastering movement in one part of the body, and some days you'll just do a whole clean set. And eventually, at the end of kind of working through this material, you're going to have a much clearer sense of where you are in space. All of your body parts are going to start to move the way they're designed to be moving. And again, what you'll find is that a lot of the aches and pains and stiffness and stuff that feels off in the body just starts to disappear because everybody's doing their job the right way. So, like I said, I think the R-Phase manual and DVD set gives you one of the most important building blocks of your entire movement practice. And for doing it 10 minutes a day, or whenever you do the first 10 minutes of your movement practice, I pretty much can't think of a reason not to incorporate this stuff.